Hey guys, Spence here. You know what's cool? Ninjas. Whether they're Thieves, the Legits, the Teenage Mutant Turtle variant, or the Desired, they're all cool on one level or another. Including Ryu Hayabusa, probably one of the oldest ninjas in gaming. Probably not the first, but I can't think of anyone older than him right now. So today we're going to be talking about one of his lesser known adventures on the handheld, Ninja Gaiden of Shadow. Ninja Gaiden Shadow. I guess people just threw Shadow in front of the titles of things back then. Anyway, this adventure was long before he donned the black gi, and allegedly 3 years after the previous game. And wait, what the heck is he wearing? I mean, the black thing isn't a gi, because the blue one's a gi, and what does it matter? The game is black and white. Well, let's move on. The plot is really simple. Basically, some dude comes falling in from the sky. You probably guessed it, he's evil. Anyway, he takes over a city or something with his terrible power. They're really vague about the whole thing. And then Ryu Hayabusa pops out and he's like, stop it. And the evil guy's like, no. And Ryu's like, pretty please. And the evil guy's like, no. And then Ryu decides to go and give him some warning cuts. Spoiler alert, he does. After the intro and start screen, the game throws you right into it. Obviously, it's a side-scroller. Ryu could jump, duck, and slash. Holding up and the slash button will allow Ryu to do a wave slash, which consumes some energy and can be replenished throughout levels with power spheres. At least that's what I call them. And holding up and the jump button will allow Ryu to use a grappling hook. The first stage and its sub-levels are really easy, actually. I mean, as long as you can do all the controls I just mentioned, you'll be able to get through it, probably without even getting hurt if you're good enough. I mean, it's the one level with these humanoid enemies who don't even do anything, they just walk towards you. Meanwhile, all subsequent humanoid enemies will have shields, and ninja stars, and frickin' flamethrowers, and actual guns! Makes you wonder what's going on with this guy. He may not even be a part of the army at this point. My costume's almost complete. Hey guys, look! Ryu Hayabusa! I'm gonna give him some copy of Ninja Gaiden. Oh god! After the sub-levels, you then meet the first boss, who's a mecha suit ceiling climbing guy. Regardless of whatever he is, he's pretty easy to beat. As I was saying, he's pretty easy to beat. The only thing he really does is climb on the ceiling, then try to land on you, and try to make you sign his copy of Ninja Gaiden. Also, whenever you beat a boss, you treat it this. Fatality. Stage 2 is definitely a step up from Stage 1 in regards to not being just a flat plane, but, I mean, it's more of the same. I mean, there are now conveyor belts, those flamethrower and gun dudes I mentioned earlier. Other than that, there's not really much of a big difference. Also, death Roombas. Lots of death Roombas. And the boss of the second level is... a tiny little Mac? And a cross between Guile and Wesker? Or that guy from Rocky 4?
I must break you.
It's at the second boss onward that the game starts asking the player to 1. Be patient, 2. Be observant, 3. Have timing, 4. Have the reflexes for the timing. Guiler here requires more of 2 and 3, as you need to be observant to avoid the little guy, while having the proper timing to know when to attack the boss and to be evasive. Now, when I was younger, I remember this guy giving me a lot of trouble. And the same holds true today. Man, change can be fickle. Now, Stage 3 is where the game really begins. Up until this point, the only thing that should have really given you a hard time was more likely than not the second boss. Really, it's these stages onward that require those 4 qualities that I mentioned earlier. You have to be patient and then figure out how to get through the obstacles that generally have very small windows and require reflexes to even get through them without getting hurt in the first place. Along with having more bottomless pits than usual, level 3 also seems to have some weird obsession with fire. I mean, we got wall flamethrowers, spinning flamethrowers, the death Roombas explode into towers of fire. I mean, the only thing we need now is a flaming ceiling to... well, it isn't on fire! Also, missed one, guys. There's one more enemy who doesn't do anything. Hey, Ryu, get inside my car! Now, the boss of the third level is... M. Bison with the gun? G. Bison? Okay, that's it. I'm looking this up. The cyborg, codenamed Spider, championship boxer Gregory and his smaller manager Jack. Wait, that prick doesn't even punch! And former military commander Colonel Allen. Since Allen's probably his last name, he's probably less of a
This place shall become your grave!
and more of a Tim Allen grunting sort of guy. When you figure out how he works, he's pretty easy to beat. Also, he looks surprised when you defeat him. Now, Stage 4, difficulty-wise, is on par with Stage 3. Maybe a little bit more difficult, but it's kind of hard to gauge, they're pretty close. But conceptually, in my opinion, it's kind of all over the place. I get the impression that concepts that were too good, but couldn't be put anywhere else, were put into this level. In the first sub-level, you're in some sort of underwater base or submarine. You can't tell me that's not a ship in the background. You're underwater. Next, the hallway is filled with ninjas and leaky pipes that apparently leak explosive stuff. I don't know, nitroglycerin? What's going on there? You got those, and then you got these helicopter things that you don't see almost ever, but now they seem to be in bulk here. In the next sub-level, you're in some sort of cave with the leaky pipes and ninjas following you, but now there's a little area where you have to dodge lasers while there's a weird darkness mechanic going on. Also, there's a little trap floor. And the last sub-level, it's a lava chase sequence. Where'd the lava come from? Did the leaky pipes build up that much? And after that comes the fourth boss, Nobleman / Ninja Master Fukisai. Even his intro takes a while, geez. If you didn't guess by now, he's going to require a lot of the patient aspect. But like the third boss, he's a one-trick pony, albeit one that takes a while to put down. More or less turning it into a war of attrition. And now the final level, which has a bit more enemies, and that's really about it, really, except for one small aspect. You remember how in Stage 3, the architect was obsessed with flamethrowers? Yeah, this architect seems to be obsessed with lasers. I mean lots of lasers. So much so that the last sub-level is basically you on an elevator with lasers shooting at you. Speaking of, I hope you're good at dodging those lasers. Why? 1, the boss is right there. Yep, he's just right there, and I hope you're ready to fight him. And if you lose to him, and also point number 2, you have to do that entire sub-level all over again. Mind you, if you happen to get a game over, you have to do the entire stage again. So yeah, that's lame. But there is some good news. He's not that hard. Bad news is, he has a second form. But as with all bosses in this game, except for Spider, Stinks, and Gregory, which is difficult. Once you figure out his gag and the timing and reflex is required, taking him down is a simple process. I mean, he shoots 3 bullets on delay and jumps around. He's like a normal enemy with a lot of HP. He's really banking on you being tired from the lasers and the previous fight. And so, Ryu defeated the evil Garuda Emperor. On his way home, he walked past Castlevania, which apparently had just been raided by a Belmont member, because it started to crumble as Ryu passed it. And after the credits roll, that's literally it. It leaves you on the screen. You could tell it's an old school game because they don't loop it back to the start menu. And that's Ninja Gaiden Shadow. Would I recommend this game? For the most part, yes, like a 65%. It is a solid platformer. But the main reason I'm hesitant to say that is because it's a very simple game. And the game can be beaten in half an hour once you figure everything out, and there's only one adventure. In addition to this, it's not as difficult as other Ninja Gaiden games, which could be a positive or a negative, though the cheap deaths are definitely kept to a minimum. In short, if you want a small platforming game, this is definitely something to consider, but not something you're required to have.